Welcome back to part 4 of Free Will Summer, where I watch as many movies I've never seen before as I can. But honestly, I have so many movies on my wheel and I don't feel like stopping, so who knows, maybe this will go into the fall. Anyways, today we're watching Awake. It's a movie about a guy who's getting heart surgery and he's awake in the middle of his operation, and that's just a horrifying concept to me. And this movie just seems really cool and terrifying, and also, I'm really hot. It is so hot in this room. So hot, in fact, that this video is sponsored by me going downstairs to watch this video in the AC. You did that trick last time! Clone Magak V3? Dude, where do you guys keep coming from? I mean, come on, this joke's tired and played out already. Although, he is kinda right, I did do that last time, so I guess there will be a time-lapse today after all. Could you kill somebody with this? I'm wondering about that. I got this vulture from a comic book store today. I'm stalling because, quite frankly, I think this movie is gonna give me a anxiety attack. Well, no time like the present. Dude, you had a great premise, and then you blew it. That was me saying you blew it in case you couldn't hear over the metal clanking. But really, how do you have such a great premise and then completely waste it? First of all, the acting. It's Hayden Christensen. What did you expect, dude? Anakin. He's a terrible actor, and he's terrible in this. Whether it's joy, despair, grief, fear, pain, he delivers all of his lines the exact same way. His, screams of pain when he's being, cut open and stuff, it just sounds so, canned and forced and fake. Second, it's not too clear who we're supposed to be rooting for or against in this movie. And I am actually going to do something I didn't do with the last couple of videos and go into spoilers with this one. So if you think this is going to be an interesting movie, it's not. Watch something else. It's not good. So Hayden Christensen is the main character, but he's a billionaire and he's a little bit of a jerk, so it seems like we're supposed to be rooting against him, but then he's strapped down and he has the anesthesia that's not really working on him, and he's being cut into and stuff, and it's we're supposed to root for him now, even though pain is the only thing. But because of how terrible acted it is, it just looks pathetic. And then, of course, there's the whole subplot, I guess you could call it, where the doctors are actually trying to kill him to get his money, even though that doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, they had to make this big, elaborate plan that one of their female accomplices would fall in love with Hayden Christensen's character, him not reject her, then she has to propose, and he has to say yes, and they have to get married, and he has to put all of his money to her in his will. And all of that needs to happen before he dies. They also need to have a perfectly tight plan between all these people that none of them can decide, hey, this is pretty screwed up, and leave and rat the others out. That whole plot kind of made no sense. And the worst, the most mortal sin that this movie commits to me is that it chickens out. It has this, this movie has the keys to the castle to make a great, terrifying movie, and it's an absolute fumble. Because they completely abandon the main plot of the movie. First of all, I found it kind of weird that it was just, still images of him knocked out, And then the voiceover. Oh, I'm in horrible pain. He's cutting into me. And, like, I knew that, like, he wakes up, but he doesn't, like, actually wake up. Because his body's still being operated, but his mind is out. So, during, like, the most, like, painful and horrible scene, when he's, like, being cut into and first operated on, shouldn't we see his face react and not just his phoned-in vocal performance? Like, his face doesn't even move. You don't even get, like, a... No, it's just... He's just still. And if they were gonna have his, like, soul leave his body, so to say, have him, like, have his face be expressive and, like, maybe he can move a little bit, but he's trapped, like, on the table or something? Why was he able to move and leave the room and leave the building? Because that kind of kills all the tension for me, especially when he stops feeling pain. One thing I did find kind of cool with that is how the lights were slowly turning off as he's dying. They're not the first people to think of that, and there was a shot in this that is a direct ripoff of Jacob's Ladder, where I was almost thinking, is that filmed in the same set? Speaking of this ripping off other movies, from that point on, it just starts to copy Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but not as cool or well acted or well written or immersive or actually even scary. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is scarier than this movie. And, like, the scariest part of this movie is, like, the build-up to the operation, because once it actually, like, happens, like, it starts and it's like, oh, okay, that's, wait, that's it? That's not too bad. Especially when they start cutting away to other characters. Also, this movie tries to have a twist every 10 minutes. This movie thinks to make a great movie, every 10 minutes we need to place a twist in there that adds nothing. All the stuff with his father is just stupid, and the, like, storyline or plot thing, I don't know. The thing about his mother's suicide was just so forced and stupid, and it just felt like they didn't know how to end it. Well, who else would have the same blood type as him? His mother. But, like, she figured out something was going on and decided, you know what the best course of action is? It's not call the cops. No, we leave that up to the inside man who was in on the operation as, like, a fake doctor, which was another pointless twist. No, she says, alright, see his heart medication? His heart medication? Let me just take all those and kill myself, so now he'll get my heart. Which makes no sense, because it's heart medication. Would that kind of affect her heart? And because he sees her in this, like, dream world, shouldn't that mean that she's awake as well? And that's where it completely lost me and lost the premise. I mean, it lost me and the premise a lot earlier, but that's just where it made the whole movie feel pointless, because it broke the rules set up by itself. Now, I think there are some pretty cool and kind of scary scenes when he's being cut into, and I think horror movies in a hospital are terrifying to me, because I'm scared of going to the hospital. I'm scared of hospitals, which is why that scene in Jacob's Ladder, which I talked about earlier and in another video. But that's why that scene is so terrifying, because that scene does what I wanted this movie to do. If you've seen the movie, or even if you haven't, you should go watch that movie. Pay attention to a hospital scene. You'll know it when you see it. It doesn't even show much, but it's the idea of what's happening and, you know, some of the imagery that makes it terrifying. This had the gore, but it didn't make it scary. This movie is kind of embarrassing because it felt like we're walking to the big leagues. We're walking towards a great movie, but you have to go down some stairs, and this movie just fell down the stairs. So how do we fix it? The easiest way possible. Okay, so in the movie, we're introduced to this good surgeon, and he's like, my hands have been inside of presidents. Okay, dude. And later on, he saves the main character's life. So he's basically like the Jesus of surgeons. He's the LeBron of surgeons. He's the Tom Brady of heart surgery. But instead he goes with his friend who, betrayed him. But what if he actually does go to the good doctor who's, the best, and make him a more hateable character and make it so that you want to see him get hurt? Or make him a regular guy, and he goes to this doctor who's really good, and his hands have been inside of presidents, and he's the top of the line, and show him make the smallest micro error, and now he's trapped in his own body being cut into. That would be so much more terrifying than anything that happens in this movie. And as far as the stupid voiceover, you could just have his body move a little bit and his face reacts and he can open his eyes and move his mouth, but it's not literally happening. Just it's happening in his own mind. So we can see what the movie promises and him getting ripped into and him going ah, but at the same time. And then you can end the movie one of two ways. You can let him die and just show how messed up this whole situation was, or you can let him live and see how it messes him up for life. There were so many better ways to make this movie, and they chose the worst possible option. I just don't understand how you utterly fail at the concept of making a good movie that badly when you had such a great premise. But, yeah, I think this is where I'll leave it up to you guys. What are some movies that had a good premise or even a good beginning and then completely fall off the rails? I would say Phenomenon, Hallow Road, Old, even kind of Trap, although I like the movie Trap. I think it could have been better if it stayed in the arena. But that's a discussion for another day. So yeah, let me know about that in the comments, and I will see you next time on Free Will Summer.